Here's my piston, 15 spring piston. And this one has the reinforcements. Okay, you see how they kind of extend up right there? If I got a picture of this piston, I'll go ahead and post it in the video. Now, all right, I'm going to run through this real fast, all right? So I don't run out of storage again. This is nothing but square stock, all right? Heat this up. I put it in there. I sized it, brazed it, straightened it. You can do that. These are getting hard to find. All right. This is the wavy spring. If you take this wavy out, okay, what will happen is this pack will engage with the quickness. When you go to put it in drive, what will happen is it'll bump right into drive. And that is no bueno. That's how you tear stuff up. This has no play in it, okay? I forget what, I think this is an 850 piston. I tried an 845 and it just rattled in there, so I got an 850. Now you can get the taller ones and you can sand that down to where it's thinner, but just be aware that if it's not sanded correctly, then it's not going to apply pressure on these fingers on this Bellevue spring evenly. Remember this plate we talked about right here? Sand this down to move your clutches deeper onto the direct. And also, look at this. Remember earlier I said something about make sure you use the right clutch pack? See how it's crossed right there? See how this one isn't? This is your direct. And this is your forward. So it's going to wick away faster. Now this stack in here, I forget how much clearance I had or have, but it does have thick and thin steels in here, okay? Sorry, I dropped this, it landed in the bucket, so I wanted to get that before I forgot about it. That's how I put my forward together. And the clearance, so this is done. I'm going to go ahead and put this in the tote, and this will be covered, so I'm ready to assemble it into the transmission. Before I do that, I want to go through this, before I run out of memory in my phone, I want to go through what I did here. All right? Going with my other video, here is the stack in the drum. Okay? 2 thin steels is thicker than 1 thick steel. 2 thin ones will move your clutch pack more towards the direct, or I'm sorry, the forward. All right? So I want to space it away from the piston so I make sure that the frictions are on this drum right here, okay, or this hub, whatever you want to call it. So I have 2 steels, and they're going to be stacked in the drum like so. You got your drum, 2 steels, friction, thin steel, friction, thick steel, friction, thick steel, friction, thin steel, friction, thin steel, friction, Bellevue spring pressure plate ground down, 65 thou snap. That's going to be my clutch pack in here. What that is going to give me on these splines here, that's going to give me 135 thou of room for this to go. This last friction right here is going to give me 135 thou till it hits the end. So 135 thou down. So you have, let's pretend that this is 135 right there. And then you have the play in the pack itself. Here's the play. Here's the 80, 90, whatever. This is still going to be engaged. It's never going to get to the point where it's right on the edge or falling off. So when the pack applies, since this is already engaged and it hasn't fallen off, it's going to apply. There you go. Here's your 6 frictions in your direct. I have checked, rechecked, and checked again. It's 135 thou. This pack has 90 thou clearance. I wanted this to be at 90 because I wanted a little bit more room in between the friction materials to absorb that oil. Now remember, this will heat up if you don't have enough clearance for that oil to get in there. That's why it's important that not only you match your clearances to how you want your transmission to perform, but you also need to match your clearances with the type of oil you want to run. Remember, there's 3 different transmission weights, and actually there's a 4th one right now. There's a 20, the 15, the 10, and a 5. I heard rumor of a 2. So there you go. There's your 6 in your direct, and you don't have to worry about the drum because it all fits. Just to let you know, or just to show what I got. Now these steels, this will be, I'll have some 120 on my flat plate, and I'll put some transmission fluid on the sanding paper, or the sandpaper with some fuel, and I will take the steel and I will do a circular motion both ways, clockwise and counterclockwise, flip it and do the same, clockwise and counterclockwise. You just want to rough up this finish here. You don't want it really smooth. This helps grab those frictions and engage them. See how much clearance I have here? Zeroed out. I have 245. 245. Take into consideration, let's just say 50 there, and another 90 for clutch pack play, and that friction is still engaged. Remember, you don't have to worry about these steels here being engaged or not, because the steel's engaged to the drum. They don't have to engage here. I got 2 thins. 2 thins put together is 150, roughly. Because I know these are, oh, there's a thick one there. Sorry about that. Let's get a thin one. 132. One of them, 62 to 65. There you go, just like that. Steels will grab onto the drum. You have 240 here, minus the clearance that this sits inside the drum, because remember, we measured that. And you don't have to worry about that friction coming off that hub, stock hub. There you go, done. So, till next time, make your box bigger. All right, I will add something else. if you have blue, those Roloc discs, okay? If you have the blue Roloc discs, you can use them on here. Just kind of rough it up. What I do is I put it on a flat surface and I turn it. All right? And that's it. You don't want to keep in one area. You just want to take that Roloc disc with it running slow, not fast. You just a little bit on the trigger. You just want to scuff them up. You don't want to take any material off. You just want to get that smoothness a little roughed up. See? Don't use a brown one, use a blue one. And that's it. This will go together. See you next time. There you go. I put it together. I checked it. Pressure checked it. Everything's good. Everything clears. This says 85. It's actually like 87 thou in that clutch pack. So this is good. I really can't take this down too much right here because I'm getting a little close to the edge. See? So these are going to have to stay. There's 2 in here. So just so you guys know, I measured from, I actually measured the Play-Doh in here, and it actually came out to like 35. So let's just say 45 here is the gap. So that'll give my readings a higher clutch pack, which will give me a margin of error. So let's just say 45 here to where it hits the top of the pressure plate where I ground. And from the top of the pressure plate, I measured across with my machinist ruler, and I measured down to where the steel is, and that came to 165 right there. So let's actually came to like 145, but I added 20 thou just for the thickness of the friction steel. So let's just say 165. So from the top of this to the bottom of that is 165, and this pack is resting. So this is about as far down as it'll go. You know, it'll probably go another 10 if I really push on it, but I really don't need to do that. So let's just say 165 plus, let's just make that 50s to give us another clearance to move that clutch pack up to give us another room of error here. So let's just say 1.215. So this clutch pack, the last friction in here, the deepest one that'll ride the top of this here. Let's just say I need at least 1.215. Okay. So let's take 1.215. Hold on. Let me zero this out. I'm trying to work with one hand here. Zero that out. 1.215. Let's get this set up on here. So as you can see, see where it tapers? You want to go below that taper. So as you can see, we're going to be good. So right at the top of that tape, it's going to be 170. It's going to be 170 down from this one in its relaxed state. So when the piston comes on, it pushes it down. So it's going to be 170 at its most shallowest point. So the top friction is going to be that far down in its lowest point. So I have plenty. There's no way that friction is going to come off of that. So 6 frictions in that pack right there is enough to fit on that stock drum. or that hub. So that's where I'm at.